section.
Hi, I am Leilani Wales, the co-founder of AGL Yacht Sales. Welcome to Woman of the Waterfront podcast, coming to you from the beautiful San Diego, California.
You are watching the Women of the Waterfront podcast, hosted by Leilani Wales and directed by Fabio Borges with Every Media Productions. Special guest, Kathi Ford, with reliable documentation.
In this episode, I'm honored to have our special guest, Kathi Ford, the president of Reliable Documentation. She is an expert in marine documentation services, specializing in clean titles for boats purchases. With over 20 years of experience, Kathi Ford has encountered numerous fraudulent schemes and will share the most interesting and outrageous stories from her career. So if you work in the marine industry or thinking about buying or selling a boat, keep watching. Hi, Kathi.
Hi, Leilani.
Welcome to the Women of the Waterfront podcast.
Thank you for having me. I am very honored to be here. This is awesome.
Oh.
And it's beautiful.
I know, it's a beautiful sunny San Diego. What can you ask for more, right? Well, Kathi, I know you are here, and I thank you so much for being here, because I believe that you are one of the important part in our marine industry. For the audience, she's the one who does all the transfer of titles, okay? And believe me, she has so many stories, and we're gonna get to that. So tell me, how did you started in this beautiful marine industry that we have?
Well, I can say I've been doing this for 30 years, so it seems it's about half my life, and I literally fell into this industry. It wasn't something I had planned.
Mm-hmm.
My son wasn't quite 4, and I needed to start a new life.
Wow.
And, walked into an agency, and they placed me with a company, and here I am 30 years later with my own company.
Wow.
I have been doing this. I don't know how to do anything else. So now this is my life. I love what I do.
It's your passion.
It's my passion, and it's something I feel strongly about, and something it to me, you have to be ethical. And if you're not ethical, you can't do this. You have to, your standard of everything has to be perfect.
That's correct. Integrity is the key to this industry, and you don't have it, believe me. So tell me, what are the things that you have experienced in being, transferred of documentation? Are there any other things, like, for instance, like, our audience should know what to do and not to do during the transfer of documentation, and also the brokers itself, that maybe you can explain to us?
Well, first and foremost, you see a lot of the ads on Craigslist.
Correct.
And that can go badly. I always recommend, if somebody's going to sell a big boat,
Mm-hmm.
a yacht that's not trailerable, please call a broker. You're a broker, you know this. It's your safest bet. I've seen some, scams on Craigslist, and they're advertising a boat that really doesn't belong to them, and scam somebody out of their money. We've seen that. Put pictures up of boats that, well, maybe that's what the pictures were when they bought it, but since then they sank the boat, and there's
Ooh, no
nasty
kidding.
smell.
Yeah.
We've seen it all.
And what are the really scheme that you try to avoid, or the things that you had experienced personally?
The worst being, and it was a while ago, but it was in the news. It was a hatteras. It was a large hatteras that the people advertised on Craigslist. And it so happened that the person answering the ad, and I've got goosebumps right now just talking about this. The person answering the ad was not a good person. He did not have good intentions in mind. He ended up gaining the seller's trust.
Oh my.
And they went out on a sea trial. And during the sea trial, the bad guy, the potential buyer, they tied up the owners of the boat and made them sign a bunch of paperwork to sign over the boat to them.
Oh my goodness.
And ended up tying them to the anchor and throwing them overboard somewhere between Newport and Catalina.
Wow.
It was probably one of the most horrific events that I've ever had to that had ever come across my desk. Then, now, ever. I had to go to court and testify, and watching the family of this couple in the courtroom just broke my heart.
Oh my goodness.
And when I did go to court, the district attorney said, the detective rather, said, the district attorney said, everybody's been up and off on the stand 10 minutes. They're done. You'll be up. It's going to be really super easy. 3 hours later, I was on the stand for 3 hours between the district attorney, Matt Murphy for Orange County, and the defense attorney questioning me back and forth. And when I left that day, I went home and cried in my car. It was an experience. It was very tough, and I can't imagine the pain the family went through. But anyway, the bad guy, he got the death penalty. His wife got she got life.
Ooh,
and
my.
the third guy got 10 years. And the sad part was they had just had their second child. The guy who threw them overboard, and this was on, this is a story that would end up being on 2020 on Dateline, all kinds of everywhere. And so
goodness.
One of the things when people do call me and ask, hey, look, I'm going to list my boat on Craigslist, please don't. Please call a broker.
Yes.
It's safer. You have somebody who's knowledgeable go with you on a specific sea trial. They have the experience.
That's true. Wow, what a horrible situation that they, because you'll never know what is going to come to your desk, right? Yeah, and I know I had that little experience. I listed a boat, and guess what? I went to show the boat, and the boat is not there. So I called up the owner, and I said, I'm showing your boat, but your boat is not here. Can you let me know where the boat is, right? And then she said, okay, well, I call up my mechanic. And here I am, we're waiting, and there's no boat for me to show. And I had to literally apologize to my buyer.
Oh my gosh.
I had to reschedule everything, right? However, that rescheduling never even came through because we found out that the boat has been confiscated by the U.S. Coast Guard because they actually whoever was running that boat got caught with illegals in it.
Oh
gosh.
my
gosh. And could you believe what would happen in that boat? What happened to that boat when they confiscated? They put it in a certain boatyard, right? And then this is unbeknown to the seller. The seller didn't even know anything what was happening. He trusted a mechanic. Okay? And there you go. That's just what happens. And I'm not saying all mechanics are bad out there. No, it's just you got to have like a license, and they are actually insured. And those are the mechanics that you need to hire and be comfortable who you're going to partners with. Okay. So anyway, so I found that my husband is an attorney, so I had to call my husband. I did not know what to do. Am I gonna be in trouble here or not? I said, yacht broker, I don't know, because I listed the boat, right? So guess what? He was able to help my seller. He didn't know what happened. Every day that boat is in the boatyard, it's penalized.
Right.
Every single day.
You're paying impound fees.
Yes, every single day. And I felt so bad with my seller, and I did not know whatever happened to that boat because at that point I canceled the listing. And then once my husband actually helped my seller got his boat back, it's up to him now. I'm out of it.
Right.
And you just never know, there's so many scams, like, and for my seller, he really had to pay, I don't know, thousands of dollars just to keep that boat there. And you don't know when they're going to release it because it's actually an evidence.
Right.
And they use that. And so, but then the price every single day, it's on his time, on his list. I mean, because of he owns the boat.
Right.
that, and that's a
It's
terrible thing.
responsibility, yeah.
Yes, exactly. So, anything. I know I'm a broker. I know there are certain things that a broker always questions. You know, like the hull. You know, sometimes the boat doesn't have a hull number. So explain that to me.
This is this is a point of contention with us right now
Yes.
between the Coast Guard, the DMV, and the boat owners, because
Yes.
the hull numbers came about in 1972, technically,
Correct.
but they didn't really go into, they didn't get coverage or, you know, become integrated until about 1978.
Correct.
And then the format changed, you know, from what it used to be to what it is now. You know, the first three digits mean the manufacturer, then their model, then the month built or the keel was laid, and then the model year, and then the year built. Anyway, this is a problem with, we had, matter of fact, speaking of, I had a guy come say, you know what, I just finished building this boat and here's the hull number. And I'm like, looking at the hull number, I said, it looks like you laid the keel 20 years ago according to the hull number. How is that possible? Well, I've been working on it for 20 years.
Oh.
And I thought, well, that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't really think too much about it. I'm okay, take you at your word. You've been doing this, we'll go with that. And then a couple months later, I've got another boat. That it's an 80-foot and it's a wooden hull, and who makes wooden hull boats nowadays? This is
Correct.
a little fishy. This is,
Mm-hmm.
and he's, I've got a buyer for it, and I just, you know, I've been working on it, building it for the last 20 years. Again, same story.
Correct.
What it came down to was he took a boat and took the hull number off, the old hull number, off the
No.
boat, sanded it down. You couldn't tell it was there, you know, and put his own hull number on the boat. And come to find out, the hull, the boat, the hull that he had done this to,
Mm-hmm.
was stolen. I'm really confused by this. How does this work? And
Yeah.
he's, well, I'm, you know, I'm gonna bow out. I can't do this.
You know, one thing about you, it is just I can sense that because you've been in this industry for many years, it's your gut instinct that tells you when to bow out, when to not move forward.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
And
you can just.
you know, I'm not, you know, I wasn't born yesterday.
Yeah.
You know, and I've been doing this, and we as documentation companies, we all share information. We all
Yes.
belong to an association. All the accredited dock services across the United States belong to one association. It's called AVDA, American Vessel Documentation Association. So we belong to that. And as a collective group, we share information with each other. You know, we'll call each other up or email, hey, you know, this is really weird. Have you heard anything? Have you got anything? And somebody will say, yes. Walk away. Run. Don't even walk, just run. And so we are all in communication with each other, which I think as an industry, you guys have, yacht brokers have CYBA,
Correct.
and others. It's an integral part of what we do, and it brings, you know, a level of information and knowledge to other people, and making sure that we all are on the same page and that we don't allow a scam
Correct.
to
yes.
come into and take over, or end up, you know, having somebody come back and say, well, you should have told me about this.
Oh my goodness.
You know, it's those, and it's 99.9% of what I do. Everything is on the up and up. Everything's great. It's that 0.1% that you just shake your head and go, I can't believe that this just happened. You know, that somebody's trying to pull this off. You know, I've had a multi-jurisdictional task force in my office on identity theft.
Oh my God.
So when you're sitting there at your desk and these two big burly cops walk in with guns on their
Oh.
sides,
What did I do
Hello?
now, right?
what happened?
Uh-huh.
You know, and putting a bunch of photographs in front of you, do you recognize any of these? I'm like, well, yeah, this person and that person, they were in here last week, and they had a 38-foot scare about in front of my office. And well, they stole somebody's identity. They were part of this, the PD, the FBI, and another, you know, law enforcement agency, and we've been following them for a long time.
Oh my God.
And they did this identity theft, their driver's license, because I'm a notary as well, their driver's
Yeah.
licenses We're perfect. I mean, this is way back when, before all of the,
Yes.
you know, the raised stuff was in there now embedded, which is a lot easier. But they said, you know, yeah, they took the guy's identity, applied for a loan, signed paperwork for a $150,000 loan on this boat, and drove the boat to Mexico.
Oh my gosh.
The upside of that is, not that there was an upside at that point, but because it was federally documented with the Coast Guard
Yes.
and covered by a mortgage, the bank has more leverage than if it was a state title boat just with a title. And
Gotcha.
Just a security
I
agreement.
see.
Now
Yes.
there's a federal backing behind it.
Okay.
You know, there's more authority. It carries more weight when there's a mortgage against a boat.
Okay.
But you know, there was identity theft. So long story short, this poor guy had his identity stolen.
Well, yeah.
He's like, well, if I own a boat, I want my boat.
What does usually the buyers question when they call you up? What's the number one question they ask?
After they buy the boat, how come I have to pay sales tax?
Yes, that's
Well,
right.
you pay sales tax on your car, right? You go sales tax on a boat. And I mean, I've had people yell at me, and we tell them straight up every single time, you could be subject to sales tax. It's not my responsibility to collect it, but it's your responsibility to pay it.
That's right.
What do you mean? Well, you paid sales tax, right? On your car, you paid it on, you buy it on your groceries, you pay everything, you pay sales tax. You pay sales tax on a boat.
That's
and if you
right.
don't pay it within the year, unless you get contacted first, you could be subject to penalties.
Exactly. Exactly. Explain to me about, you know those large mega yachts, and they are actually flagged to
Those are people with money, lots of money.
Exactly.
You know, and good for them. You know,
Yes. Those are for the mega yachts.
those are for the mega yachts. That's awesome for them that they can go flag in, you know, the Marshalls, the Caymans. Jamaica's a big one now. The only thing that presents itself as a problem is when the boat sells.
Okay.
If they're owned, most of them are owned in a shell corp or whatever.
Okay.
That shell corporation has to be 100% current. And their registration or documentation certificate of registry has to be current. Because if it's not, it could cost them tens of thousands to bring it current just to be able to sell their boat.
No kidding.
So
Wow.
it's great if they're not going to sell their boat, they're going to keep using their boat. But again, it's trying, for us, is if you're listing a boat that's foreign flagged, is finding the avenue in that country to order the lien search, to order the certificate of registry or the transcript of registry to make sure there's no liens or encumbrances. And Canada's super easy. Everything's online. It's digital.
Correct.
Most everybody's going that way, but some, you know, it's a lot of money just to even order one. And if you want it the same day, it's even more money because they might be on island time.
When a broker contact you, okay, what do you want from them? If sometimes I notice like there is a form,
Right.
and as I recall, every time I have to send something to a work order, and I said, but I don't have all the contact information of the seller because it wasn't my listing,
Right.
and so of course automatically I get a feedback. I need contact information. So I would say, I'm going to get it or contact this and that because I really don't have a clue. Because I'm sure they probably, and that's usually happens. That's
It
what
happens
I do.
all
Is
the
that
time. Yeah,
okay?
just, I just need your buyer's name, phone number, and email. I will take care of all the work. I will take care of the work of contacting them, finding out, are they going to take title in their trust? Do they have an LLC?
Correct.
And the buyer, if the buyer is represented by somebody else, just tell me who the broker is. I know, doing this for as long as I've been doing this, I have
It's like the
contact.
back of your head.
Yeah, I know.
Yes.
Stuff doesn't leave my brain, unfortunately.
Now, Kathi, how can the public find you?
Well, they can find me very easily. I am on my website is Vestdocs, VESSDOCS.com. My phone number is 949-209-8870. They can email me info@Vestdocs or Kathi, but nobody ever spells my name right, so we're just, it's KATHI @Vestdocs.com. Reliable documentation. you can plug my name and you can plug reliable documentation. It all comes up. It all comes back to me. I don't know if you've ever Googled yourself, but everything about me is all documentation. There's nothing else that comes up about me other than Coast Guard documentation.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. There's one thing that I wanted to ask you. Last year, you won the second for the Women of the Waterfront award for the CYPA.
I was very
How
honored.
did that make you feel?
Oh, I did not expect that. I was shocked. I still am shocked.
Yes.
Oh
yes,
my gosh.
I saw your eyes during that time.
I was very emotional. I still was like, oh my gosh, that award is prominent on my desk.
Mhm.
I was I'm beyond honored. I mean, that was amazing.
That's great. I'm
you know,
thrilled.
and to have that award, to finally recognize women in this industry, it's been too long.
Yes.
You know, we're a force to be reckoned with.
Mhm.
You know, and it's nice to finally be recognized.
Thank you so much for watching. And special thank you to Kathi Ford, the president of Reliable Documentation, for sharing such valuable insights into marine documentation and boat transactions. You can connect with me by email at leilani@aglyachtsales.com, by phone at 360-621-4682, and through my website at aglyachtsales.com. Thank you again. I'll see you in the next episode of the Women of the Waterfront podcast. Until then, I'll see you guys on the water.
Thank you for watching the Women of the Waterfront podcast. Proudly presented by AGL Yacht Sales, Reliable Documentation, and Every Media Productions.
Welcome to the waterfront. Thank you for.